So, in this series of learning C programming, we are discussing types of storage class in C. There are 4 storage class, 3 we have already discussed: auto, static and register. Now, in this video, we will discuss extern storage class. So, this would be a little bit confusing, or you can say tricky. Not tricky, but more specifically, if I say, then application of this extern modifier or this extern keyword, or you can say this extern storage class, the application, the use, where we should use and how we should use this, how we can use this, that thing is little bit tricky. So, that also I will discuss everything about this storage class. We are going to discuss this video with the help of a program also, not one, although I will show you 2 programs, how to use this external storage class and where to use the application with the help of 2 programs. So, I will show you on my laptop also practically. Now, let us see what is an external storage class. Now, you remember, I guess, storage class will tell 4 things about the variable. Default value of this external storage class would be 0. Location where that variable would be stored in RAM, or you can say in memory. The scope is very important for this external storage class, that is, scope would be global. Now, what does that mean? That I will show you with the help of a program. We will discuss everything. And lifetime is till the end of the program, right? Scope is global, right? You can use this variable throughout the program as well as between 2 files also. Suppose you are working on a project, right? Means you are in your team you have 2 members and you are working on a project. On project we have multiple files, like one file is, you can say this file 1 and file 2 file we are having, right? In one file you are working, on another file your another team member is working. So, suppose you have defined any variable or any function. See this extern keyword, this first of all, let me just clear you one thing. All the global variables comes under this category, under this external storage class, not local variables, only global variables outside of any function or outside of any block. Only global variables will come under this category, no local variable, right? Second thing, see, now this is the case. On one file you are working, another file your team member is working. So, in one file, suppose you have you have declared a variable, you have defined a variable x is equal to 10, right? And also this extern keyword can be used with a variable as well as with the function. A function can also be external, a variable can also be external, right? Now, this variable, this is what I have declared and defined. See, let me just clear first of all the difference between declaration and definition. Declaration means we have just told the compiler the data type of that variable, that's it, no space allocation, no memory allocation, that is declaration. And definition means declaration plus space allocation. Here we have declared, like we have told, like data type would be int, and we have defined also memory would be allocated, and there we have in x we have value 10. So, we have defined as well as declared. And if we use something like this, extern int x, this is just a declaration, means no space allocation, no memory allocation for this x, right? So, I hope this is clear to you guys. Fine. Now, how to use this extern keyword? We will use extern, the data type, and simple the name of the variable, or with the help of with function also you can use this thing, that also I will show you. Now, what does this line means? Now, in this file I have some variable. I want to use this variable in another file, or you can say reuse. This is what reuse. So, better not to define this variable here, right? Simply use extern int x. It means here no memory would be allocated to this x, right? So, it is what you can say saving of memory, and I am using this x, this value in second file also, right? So extern keyword basically we use when we want to access a variable from another file, right? So it will tell the compiler, this extern keyword will tell the compiler that this x is not being defined here in this block. This x is defined maybe in another file or maybe in a same program, in the same file, but in different, not in the same block, right? This I will show you with the help of a program, and it is just a declaration. So it will tell that x is a global variable which has been defined already in another file, maybe in another file or maybe in another block, and I just want to use that x, right? So it will just give a reference to that global variable. So in second file, if you will print a value, printf x is equal to %d x, so it will print 10. Obviously these files would be under same project, like if you are working in code blocks, so you will create a project and under that project only you will create file 1, file 2, and in that only you can access this thing. So this is what you can say, it's a type of linking of two files. With the help of extern keyword we are linking two files. That would be done with the help of linker, not compiler, with the help of linker, right? I hope you know the execution process of a C program, right? Now same with the help of function, if we have defined a function in this file, you can use that function, you can call that function in this file with the help of extern. You just have to tell the compiler with the help of this extern that yes, this x is not defined here, this x has been defined somewhere else, maybe in another file in the same project, or maybe within the same file but in different block, right? Not in this block, and I want to use that x. So linker will link that file and we can access this x in this file also, right? So basically it's reusing of this x. Again we are not allocating memory to this, so it is also saving the memory, we are saving the memory, right? But as extern, this is what only global variable comes under this storage class, extern storage class. So this x in this file, this x should be global, not local. So this x can be accessed between multiple files, maybe 2 or more files or in multiple blocks. So all the files can modify this x, right? So we have to use it properly. So better to minimize the use of this extern keyword, right? Or use of these global variables. So extern keyword is basically used to declare, not define, just to declare a global variable or a function. If with a function you want to use, that also you can use, simply write extern and then simply write the data type of the function and name of the function. Suppose I am taking a function display, that's it. So it is just used to declare a global variable or a function, right, which will provide reference to the variable or the function which is already been defined in another file or maybe in different block, right. So it is just going to declare the variable or the function, right, in another file, in a separate file. So how to use this practically, how to use this, let me just show you with the help of a program. I know it's a little bit confusing, but I hope you are getting my points. If not, you can tell me in comment box, right. So let's take the simple example, one type of example I am taking where we will use extern within the same file, within the same program, right. So we have a global variable a, I have initialized it with 10. If you will not initialize this, then by default global variable would be initialized with 0, and global variable comes under which category? External storage class. But here I am initializing it with 10. So in main I am just printing a. So which a it will access? Obviously in main we don't have any local variable, so it will access this a. So 10 would be printed. Now it will call function 1 and then function 2. Function 1 we have a local variable a, 2 and then a plus plus, it becomes 3 and it will print here 3. In function 2, if it will call, it will just print hello from function 2. That's it, right? Now suppose if I don't write here int a is equal to this thing. So this a would be, it will give error, this a is undeclared a, right? And if I write here like something like this, extern int a, and here I am writing int a is equal to 10. So this line will tell, it is definition also, declaration plus definition, right? This line is just a declaration. It will declare a global variable a and it will tell the compiler that I want to use a which is defined somewhere else, not within this block but somewhere else. So where this a is defined? Here. So it will print 10, right? But what is the difference? If you not write this thing, then also it can access the global variable, yes? Yeah, the difference is, if I not write a here and I am writing after these functions, after these two functions, the definition of these functions, I am writing int a is equal to 10. Now this program, if you will not write this thing, extern int a, and you will compile, you will run this code. So printf a, although we have a global variable a, not here but after these definition of these functions, but we are using here, so it will give error like undeclared a. We are using a, but before this line we haven't declared or we haven't defined this a, right? And if we write this line, see, before using, so same as before calling the function, either you have to define the function or you have to give the prototype of that function. So before using a variable also you have to declare that variable first. But if we are using this line extern int a, means we are telling the compiler, yes, a is somewhere else, we have defined a, not within the same block, but yes, somewhere else we have defined out of this block, and I want to use that a only. So this time it will not give error. Now, yeah, compiler know that a is somewhere else in this program, right? Now a is after this, so it's okay. It will link this a with this and it will print 10. At this point of time, it will not give any error. So it will just give a reference to the global variable. Within the same file, you can use this thing. But if we are using two files, mainly we use extern keyword when we want to access a variable or a function from another file, right? That is, I guess, the main use. It's not main use of this thing. So it is simple example. Let me just take that example. So now here we are having these two files. One is file 1.c and one is support.c. In file 1, we are having a global variable int x is equal to 10. This comes under external storage class. And I have a function and I am using that function with the keyword extern. Means this is just a declaration. We are telling the compiler that this function has been defined maybe in another file or in another block, not within this block. See, we have defined this function in another file here, and in main we are just calling this function display, right? Now in support.c we have defined this function display, and here in this function I want to use this x. So just use extern int x, means we are telling the compiler that this x has been defined or this x has been initialized in another file or in another block, not within this block. So where we have defined this x? Here. And this must be global variable. Then only we can access this x here. If you write this x in any function or in any block, then we cannot access, right? So this x, this extern keyword can only be used with the global variable. This x is global variable. So now here we can access this value 10 directly from here. Here we are just declaring this x, no memory allocation for this x. So this is a kind of reusability of this x, memory saving, right? And here we can also modify the value of x. If we write x plus plus, means x value becomes now 11. So it will print hello from support file and the value would be 11. So we are calling this display here, right? But we are not defining this display here. But we have already told the compiler that with the help of this extern keyword that this function has been defined in another file, not in this file or not in this block, in another block. So yes, linker will link these two files after the compilation, right? These two object files. Object file would be created and then linker will link these files, right? And then yeah, obviously it will call from here. So it will print hello from support file and 11. So these two files must be under single project. If in VS Code Studio I'll create two separate files. So in that case I am not creating one project and under one project I am creating these two files. No, I'll create two separate C file. So in that case what I will do, I'll just include the content of this file. After this line I'll simply write hash include and what is the name of the file? Support.c in double quotes, support.c. If you want to include another file, so just write that file in double quotes. So whatever the content of this file, that would be included here, right? So I hope now you are aware about this extern keyword, how to use this. I hope this is not confusing. I know a little bit it is, but I hope I have defined, I have explained it in a neat way. If not, you can tell me in comment box, maybe we can create another video with the help of some better examples, right? Now let me just show you practical of this thing with the help of these programs. See, we have already created this file extern.c and here I am using that one type of example, that is two function we are taking. In main I am writing extern int x. I haven't initialized this x, I haven't declared it before using it. In printf I am just printing x and I am calling function 1 and function 2. This is definition of function 1, again a local variable for this x, this function x, this function 1, x is equal to 1 and I am just adding in x 5. I am just printing. In function 2 I am taking y plus plus and y I am printing, and in last I am declaring this x. I am initializing this x, int x is equal to 10, although this is global variable, right, because it is not within any function. So this x will print what? This 10. Let me just save it and run this. See, first of all x is equal to 10, this x 10, then x 6, and in function 1 obviously x would be 6 because x was 1, we have added 5. In function 2 I am printing in function 2, and then y is equal to y value would be 5, and if I don't write here this line, so the same thing, maybe you will say this x, what, this will access the global variable, and yeah, we have a global variable, right, but this time it will give error. We are using this x, we haven't declared it before, see, it will give error this time, right. See, it is giving what error? X is undeclared, first use in this function, but this is undeclared. But we have taken a global x also, so it should take this value, but it is not taking. It will only take that when we will use extern keyword and we tell the compiler with the help of this line that yes, we have a value of x, we have already defined this x, but not within this block, but somewhere in this program we have defined this x. So it will search where this x is and it will access that value, right. Now second example is, this is a second file, right, and this is my support.c file. In support.c I am just writing extern int x and display function, I am defining this display function, right, and in this extern file I am just including this file support.c file, because these are two separate files these are not under same project, but these are two separate files. That is why I am using this, including this file. Extern word display, we are telling the compiler that display function has been defined somewhere else, maybe in another file. So you have to link that file with this, right, not in this file, in another file. We are taking a global variable x and I am just calling the function display, right. So this x, when we will call this function display, this function would be called here, hello from support class would be printed, and this x, what this x, from where? From extern 1 file, because here we have global variable x and we have already told that extern int x. So this line we can also use within this display function, right. Now let me just run this and show you See, we are getting hello from support class and x is equal to 10. But if you don't take this x as global variable, right, and I am taking this local variable int x is equal to 10. This time what error you will get? See, first of all let me just, this is an error, we haven't put semicolon here. Now let me run this, and what it will give? See, undefined reference to this x, right, undefined reference to this x, because this x is, yes, we have told this compiler that this x has been defined in another file, but that x should be global variable in another file, but here we don't have any global variable x, we have local variable. So, this extern will not work with local variables, it will only work with global variable. So, this x would be global here, that time only we can access in this file, in another file, right. So, now we have taken this as global variable, and let me just run this and show you. This time we are getting same output. Now, in second file we can do what? We can modify this x plus plus, right. And now let me just run this file again and show you. At this time it will print x is equal to 11. Although this x is in this file, but we have updated this x in another file, x plus plus, right. So, that is also possible. So, I hope now we are clear with this extern keyword. So, I hope everything about extern is clear to you, why we use this extern keyword or external storage class or this modifier when we have a project, large project, and within that we have multiple files, and I want to share the variables and the functions between those files, between 2 or 3 or 4 files, right. At that time we use extern rather than defining the same variable or the same function in 2, 3, 4 files. Just define that in one file and use that file only. With the help of extern keyword, just use that file or that function or that variable. How to use that I have told you, right. So, that's it for this video now. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.